Hi everybody. When I first started my YouTube channel over a year ago now, in episode 8 I decided to do an unsolved murder local to me. The unsolved murder was that of Dr. Helen Davidson, who was brutally battered to death in Hodgemore Wood near Amersham Books in 1966. Somebody some months later kindly messaged me to tell me that Dr. Helen was buried in the graveyard at St John the Baptist's in Little Missenden, a small village in Buckinghamshire near to me. He also told me it was the resting place of the children's author Roald Dahl's young daughter Olivia, who sadly died from encephalitis due to measles complications in November 1962 at just 7 years old. You may remember a feature film has recently been released called For Olivia about how the loss of his daughter affected the author. Now, I of course thought this would be an ideal way to kick off my first attempt at filming an outside live recorded video, killing two birds with one stone, so to speak. So I set off with a friend in tow who is camera shy but could give me help finding the graves if needed, which of course it wouldn't be. Well, not Olivia's grave anyway. That will be easy to find, won't it? Well, it didn't turn out like that though, and became quite a mysterious search. So I will describe it as it happened. We arrived at John the Baptist Church on a beautiful Sunday morning and parked right outside. As we approached the open door of the church, the vicar, a very nice man, was coming out with some people. He was in a hurry after his service, but told us to please go in and look around the church, and we did so. It is an amazing church. We watched the short video, and then we looked at the amazing medieval wall paintings on the inside of the church. We then decided it was time to venture outside and look around the graveyard surrounding the church. One of us went one way, one of us went the other, and neither of the graves we were looking for were there. We asked a number of people if they knew where Olivia Dahl's grave was, thinking Olivia's would be the more famous of the two. Some said they had no idea, and some said they thought she was buried in Great Missenden, where her father is buried. But there is another graveyard directly across the road. Why don't you go and try there? So we went across the road and through the little latch gate, but to no avail. Even though we had a black and white picture of Roald Dahl building a rock garden on top of his late daughter's grave, we couldn't place the railings behind it in the picture. And frustrated, we retired to the place we knew people would know. The local pub, the Red Lion, a lovely village pub with a pond and ducks, a turkey and some amazing silky chickens that look like poodle dogs. But again, no luck. Nobody knew the graves were in Little Missenden. Disappointed but refreshed, we returned to the car and saw that 4 ladies were setting up to make cream teas in the church. Absolutely sure that they would know where I could find the graves, I approached them, and they were absolutely lovely ladies. They crowded round to look at my pics but said no, they thought Olivia was buried in Great Missenden and Dr. Helen was buried in Amersham. We decided to call it a day. Baffled and frustrated, we made our way home. That evening I reached out to my Facebook friends, and some gave me some great suggestions, but one, my old school friend Ian Ellis from Lincoln, came up trumps. There was a third hidden graveyard near the school. He even sent me more up-to-date pics of Olivia's grave. These pics and details of the third graveyard were invaluable, so I couldn't wait to get back there. But as usual, life gets in the way. So it was 3 weeks before I could return. Of course, in that 3 weeks, I had got it into my head that there was a conspiracy, and that all the villagers had come together in a pact to refuse to divulge to outsiders where the grave of Olivia Dahl was situated, so she not be disturbed. When I sent an email to the church office asking about the graves, which got no reply, I was convinced if I did find it, I would be placed in a wicker man by the villagers, set light to, and never seen again. But even this threat of certain death wouldn't stop me and my intrepid shy companion from trying one more time. Now, this is my first time at recording an outside live video without a script, so please forgive my out of breath mumbling, the sound, the jerkiness, the fact it's not a murder. I will start a new channel for these little stories and hope I can improve as I go along, but I hope you enjoy this as much as I enjoyed making it over the 3 lovely sunny Sundays it took to record. And as I value your opinion more than anyone's, I thought I'd run my new project past you first. Never fear, Murder at Bedtime will continue as normal, but please just give this a little watch. Thank you so much. So here we are at St John the Baptist in Little Missenden, where I was looking for Dr. Helen Davidson and Olivia Dahl, but I've come across this grave here of 2 more well-known people, the actor Michael Dennison and the actress Dulcie Gray. So that's their grave there, and don't know if you've ever heard of Michael Dennison and Dulcie Gray, but he was a CBE from 1915 to 1998, and Dulcie Gray, his wife, CBE 1915 to 2011. So I'll try and get that in for you. And so there is 2 very well known celebrities from the 40s and 50s. Not the graves yet that we were after, but very interesting all the same, of this absolutely fantastic church of St John the Baptist, Little Missenden. It's absolutely fabulous. Really, really lovely church. And a beautiful graveyard number 1 that goes round the corner. So this is the graveyard that is on the opposite side of the road to the lovely church over the road, as you can see, and this was the second graveyard on our search that we came looking for the graves of Olivia Dahl and Dr. Helen Davidson, and of course we didn't find it in this one either, because of course it's not here, but nobody seemed to know in Little Missenden where those 2 graves were. Now, did they not know, or did they not want to tell us? We don't know. But this was the second graveyard, a beautiful graveyard again across the road, and so we looked at this one. There's the beautiful church of John the Baptist, Little Missenden. It's a beautiful church, it really is. And so this was the second place we looked, and no sign of the 2 graves of who we sought. Hi everybody, here I am in Little Missenden. I've just come through that latch gate because here we have at last, opposite the school, found the grave that we were looking for. So I'm just going to go up here in the dark, wait a bit, and into this graveyard. And if I go round here, you will see the very neglected grave now of Olivia Dahl. Olivia 20 Dahl. This was the grave in the nice rock garden that her father, Roald Dahl, made when she died of complications from measles. It's a bit run down now. So, but if we span round here, this is the grave that I actually came to find. If you remember, I told you that I did a story on Dr. Helen Davidson, who died in November 1966, murdered, an unsolved murder, and we have now found where she was buried. So it's been lovely to actually find Dr. Helen at last and pay my respects, and it's a very nice secluded graveyard in Little Missenden, a very mysterious graveyard because it was very, very hard to find the actual third graveyard that is away from the others. So as we leave the lovely church of St John the Baptist in Little Missenden, we are now going to take a stroll down, as you should in every good expedition, to the pub round the corner, the Red Lion. So yeah, we'll leave you for the moment and talk to you soon. So the exploration is over. Here I am, sat in the Red Lion at Little Missenden. Beautiful place with a nice pint of Thatcher's. The mystery is over, mission is completed, and we're ready to go home now and edit the video and get it all done. So I'm going to enjoy this, look at the pond over there, look at the ducks, and have a lovely afternoon's drink. Thank you very much. Hi everybody, and today on an absolutely lovely beautiful October morning, I've taken the trip out to St Peter and Paul's Church at Great Missenden to try and finish the video I've been making of Dr. Helen Davidson and Olivia Dahl. And today I'm at St Peter and Paul's Church, an absolutely gorgeous church in Great Missenden, looking for Roald Dahl's grave. And I'm happy to say it's a lot easier to find than Olivia's and Helen's. So I'm going to now take you on a little walkthrough of Roald's grave. Now the first thing you see when you approach Roald Dahl's grave is this absolutely lovely memorial bench round the tree. It's absolutely fantastic. Here you will see the BFG's footprints on here, and there's a beautiful thing right the way round, and all the way round the bench is a lovely saying written round in the slabs all the way round here. Absolutely lovely, beautiful. And on every single slab you've got this saying all the way round to the end, and also on every seat there is a name of the family. Now here is the name of Olivia, and there is names all the way round on these seats, and then all the way around there's a name, and it's on this beautiful tree. And then as you come down you will see here is a footprint of the BFG and another footprint of the BFG, and then you approach from the side here, you will see that we come now to the wonderful grave of Roald Dahl. So there we go. This is Roald Dahl, Olivia's father and the world famous child author, who is buried here in the glorious churchyard at St Peter and Paul's, Great Missenden, in this absolutely fabulous church. Absolutely beautiful, and all I can say is it's been a pleasure to do this tour, and I've really enjoyed it. I shall probably leave some notes at the end, but I'll just show you the BFG's footprints going over to the lovely, wonderful memorial garden and this amazing tree and thank you very much for joining me on this little expedition, which I have really thoroughly enjoyed. Well, I really hope you found that of some interest. Please let me know. It's just a tester. It won't be staying on this channel, and it will be on a separate one. Normal service will resume on here next week. I would just like to add some notes to the end of these videos. On our second visit to Little Missenden, all conspiracy theories went out of the window. We once again bumped into the very nice, very trendy Vicar of St John the Baptist's, and he couldn't have been more helpful. He knew exactly where Olivia's grave was and was quite willing to show us until we explained that we had already found it. I'd just like to say I felt very sad after visiting Roald Dahl's very lovely grave and memorial bench with fresh flowers and pens left by the grave by fans, and the fact his 27-year-old stepdaughter by his second marriage, Lorena Crossland, known as Loopy, is buried next to him. In a village just a couple of miles away is the pretty much forgotten grave of 7-year-old Olivia. Her mum, the actress Patricia Neal, is buried in Connecticut in the USA. So why is she all on her own? Maybe there is a simple explanation. If there is, please message me. I would be very interested to know, because I couldn't do that. But that's probably me being too sensitive, and probably the reason that I'm taking a teddy and some flowers to Olivia's grave next week. Anyway, feel free to message me, and thank you so much for watching, and night night.